On April 8th, 2016, I was diagnosed after going to the emergency room with some chest pains with pancreatic cancer. I stayed the weekend and they did some tests to verify their suspicions, CT scans, blood tests. Um, Later on, I had a laparoscopic surgery where they went in to look further and did notice a mass on my the tail of my pancreas, approximately 5 centimeter, maybe by 3 centimeters. Um, at the time, the liver was unaffected. The liver was unaffected. It had not metastasized to my liver, which was a blessing and is a blessing. Um, I returned home Monday. Obviously, at 53 and being in generally, well, very good health, I've always eaten well. Vegetables, fruits, minimize the intake of processed foods, um, and all the things that people said was unhealthy. Didn't smoke, rarely drank, um, exercised regularly, mm, um, and generally felt great. But it still came upon me. And at the time, I thought maybe it was, at the very worst, would be pancreatitis because there was some pain in my lower back and some pain in my lower abdomen. Um, the mass did cause, in the doctor's explanation, the blood clots in my lungs, pulmonary embolism, which caused me a great deal of pain. I couldn't even lie down that Friday when I went into the emergency room and also had a slight fever and just general feeling of just great, abdominal discomfort. The pulmonary embolism in itself wasn't enough to put me at great risk, and people died from that alone. But in this case, it was actually was the indicator of something more serious underlying. So at this particular point, I'm doing well. I have been to the. I did get a second opinion. I went to did some research and went to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America up in Chicago, and they did their own test where they had verified the initial findings. Um, and of course, I hoped that maybe they would find that it was a false positive. The doctors there were very gentle. Excuse me. They were a bit more positive than the doctors where I reside, which is outside of a major metropolitan city in Virginia. And they gave me the option of remaining there where I would receive a holistic approach, nutritional support, spiritual support. But I thought those things I could work on myself, and that would be much better for me to be with my family. So I elected to remain at home. Another reason is that the treatment regimen that they would employ would be the same as that which I would be receiving at home. So right now I am going through chemo. and a very aggressive chemo regimen where I go in every 2 weeks and stay for several hours, and then leave the infusion center with a pump that is still administering chemo through a port in my chest for an additional 46 hours. It, chemo is very difficult for me. Some people it's easy. It does make me intensely, nauseous and weak. And during the chemo session, it's very important that they get the drug mixture correct to prevent adverse effects. The adverse effects for me are intense cramping and muscle spasms, abdominal pains, and muscle, especially, and some abdominal cramping, some diarrhea, feelings of hot and cold, chills, sweating, and pretty severe discomfort. However, hopefully they will get the mixture correct. I'm scheduled to go in tomorrow, and hopefully they will have it correct so I can go through the process a lot more comfortably. The days following chemo, I am tired. I do suffer abdominal distress and the nausea that one often hears about with associated with chemo. I take various medicines to help with that, and I watch what I eat. I find that I have a less of a desire to eat meat and dairy, that fruit and vegetables seem to work better for me. After some days, maybe an average of 5 days, once the chemo session is over with, including the 46 hours with the pump, maybe after, say, 5 days, I'm probably back to about 80%, normal strength. That level of strength that I would have had I, been healthy, fully healthy. But I feel good at this point. Like I say, I go in for chemo tomorrow, so that's my status will change a bit in terms of how I feel. I feel strong. I still eat well. I make sure that I eat, even if I don't want to eat. I don't feel like eating. I'm careful about what I'm eating. Like I said, my taste has changed, which is to my advantage, and my taste seems to be moving towards that which is best for me: the vegetables and the whole grains and fruit. Hydration is critical, so I drink a lot of water, and I've heard some things about pH level water being important. I'll kind of go into that in a moment. I work out. I go to the gym, and do lift weights, and maybe not as vigorously as before, and but I do lift. I'm still capable. I still have my muscle strength. I don't really know how long the cancer has been inside. Like I said, I was diagnosed in April, 2 months ago. But the cancer may have been there for months or longer. So I guess that would classify me as a pancreatic cancer survivor. The reason why I'm doing this video is to help people be informed and to help give people hope that though this disease comes with a high mortality rate, that it doesn't have to be something that It doesn't have to be a death sentence. I think it's about your personal conviction to your belief in that you'll get beat it, that you'll survive. I believe I will. Um, a lot of people who get this disease are older in their 60s and 70s and have a lot of pre-existing conditions, and none of those things apply to me. And so my cases, whether atypical, they don't even really stage it. I mean, they have found some floating cancer cells, but it has not metastasized to other organs at this point, um, based on the most recent test for such. So I just go by how I feel, and how I feel is generally and good and healthy. And so I'm going to talk in a minute about the statistics. The statistics say that most people don't make it, that as little as 2% of people make it beyond 5 years. That and a doctor's speech is very discouraging. It's not encouraging. It's not optimistic. In fact, they're treating me. My treatment has been defined as palliative. Kind of like just helping me manage versus being curative. But in my mind, it's curative. No one can tell you when you're gonna live and die. That's only one person knows. Only one entity or force knows that. And as long as I'm breathing, as long as I'm waking up in the morning, I'm living. I'm alive. I'm alive now. I'm living. I'm not dying. You know. And I think that's very important. I have watched some videos that were very discouraging, where it seemed like the people gave up. Right from the beginning, and maybe their diagnosis was more intense, and maybe there seemed to be very little reason to believe that they could beat it. But it's the most intense thing I could imagine anyone telling me the things that have been told to me, and I don't accept it, and I won't accept it. So, yes, the statistics to grim is supposed to be the fourth leading cause, fourth deadliest cancer there is behind heart. I'm sorry, lung, brain, and something else. Um, but statistics are what they are. They're numbers, and we're all individuals, and it's how you choose to go on as an individual. I'd like to talk for a minute about the things that people say that can affect you and your mood when you break the news to people. Um, you have to prepare yourself, because people who have any knowledge of the disease know about its mortality that's attached to it, and they respond in kind, and you have to kind of brush that off as well, and don't entertain it too long. And if you're uncomfortable sharing it, don't share it. Only key people need to know anyhow. You know. But yeah, even when I went to the cancer center, people, oh my God, oh no, and so you can't let that affect you. Although it's hard not to, we're human. Can't let it affect you. From the doctors to the layman, you know. The most important people in your life are those, whoever they may be, your wife, your grown children, your close friends. And hopefully they are there to support you. And you have to almost guide them, because they will say some things that will shock you. They will say some things as maybe protecting themselves, as if they've already, put you on a track to die. And I don't think it's done because they're being malicious, and I certainly hope that's not the case. I think it's a highly uncomfortable position to be in, and highly unusual, and they don't know how to react. They don't know what to say. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't think before they say the things they say, and they don't know the importance of being a support, a positive support, and giving you positive impact and energy. You know, so you will hear some bizarre things. I've heard people say, "Oh, have you started?" You know, I won't go into specifics because those people may watch this video and be hurt, but things that suggest that it's time for you to make preparations. And realistically, you should make some sort of preparations. I mean, I fully plan to, double, triple my life insurance and that which I can change. In the event that I'm unable to fight, and if it's my time, then I want to make it so that my wife and son can be financially looked after, and any other way I can. But that's things we should do anyway, you know. So yes, friends, relatives, neighbors, coworkers will say all kinds of things that may shock you and surprise you and even hurt you. So you have to be careful, with whom you share these things, and to keep an open mind and try not to be offended, and educate them. Educate them to where you are. I tell them, hey man, I'm fighting. I'm good. At this point, I'm good. And as far as every part of me is fighting. And I'm good. Let's talk about the weather or the Cleveland winning the championship or something. I have been fortunate in many ways, though. My coworkers were immensely supportive. Makes me a little emotional right now thinking about that. A bit of a surprise in ways, very supportive. Helped me out with my students, helped me out with financially. My family came together to see me, and it was beautiful. And it's the start of something, it's not the end of something. And there were efforts there to help financially as well. And and that way I've been blessed. My wife has been very calm and very positive in ways that I'm not sure I understand completely. I try to keep it normal. I try not to talk about things too much, but I am open with her. And I share my feelings, my fears, and everything. And there are moments where you might lose it. You might lose it, and it's only natural. Life still goes on, and you have to prepare for that. The bill collect, I mean, the creditors are going to continue to come at you. People are going to still be nasty to you on the highway, and those people who are nice going to continue to be nice. Those people who tend to be mean, they can continue to be mean. You kind of want to cocoon yourself in a way and protect yourself, and that's wise if you can, to a certain extent. But if you're able to get out there, you can just go out there and do your thing and keep it cool. But life just still goes on. Our health system is a mess. The doctors are not as compassionate as they should be. I'm already got a massive hospital bill, and I gotta negotiate that. So these things go on, but you try to manage them, and you try to do it in a way that won't affect your spirit, because you have to keep your spirit up. You have to keep your spirit up. Do those things you love. If you feel like resting, rest. If you feel like going for a ride in your car, go for a ride in your car. If you feel like hugging your wife, hug your wife, playing with your son, and whatever it is, do it. Continue doing it. Um, I'm gonna continue, my fight, and you know, let me speak for a second about all those things out there. But one of the things that's kind of discouraging to me is all the things out there that supposedly can help you. Miracle cures and chemical clinical trials and things of that nature. You don't know. There's so much stuff out there. Since we live in a society where these things are controlled, and you don't know who's trying to sell what, and you don't know what's real, you don't know what's going to be helpful, what could potentially be harmful. You just have to be, very exercise some judgment. Go with your heart, listen to your body, listen to your spirit. Um, Try what you feel like trying. I guess the bottom line is don't give up and go with what you feel. I mean, I'm trying, things that make sense to me to try. If it makes sense, try it. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't seem to make sense, maybe don't try it. If you can become a part of a clinical trial, that's could be a good thing. I haven't as yet, so I don't know. Um, you hear about I would hesitate about these so-called miracle cures because we live in a capitalistic society, and it could be someone just trying to get over on you. But on the other hand, it could be something that's good. I think the most important thing is what you put in your body. In terms of food, in terms of energy, and how you feed your spirit. In terms of that which you think, that which you study, and those that you choose to be around. Um, I think that's the most vital thing. It seems that in terms of chemo, that's universal across the board. It doesn't vary, but so much. And if you have faith in your doctor, go with them. But by all means, do as much research as you can on your doctor. Make sure you have a good doctor. Check their, you know, references. If you know somebody in the medical field, get input from them. I did this, and I'm comfortable enough with my doctor. I don't feel that it would be advantageous for me to change at this point. So I will continue with my chemo. I probably will talk to you again for those who are interested, and I hope I brought something positive to you through this. For those who are dealing with people with this diagnosis, love them, support them, try to keep their spirits up. Um, Focus on that they're survivors. They're living now. You're living. You're not dying. You're living. We never know where we're gonna go. Um, I will report back in probably in a couple of days after the chemo. Let you know what's happened after my third round. I was supposed to get 6 rounds, and then I was supposed to be tested to see what's happening with my body and the spread or the status of the spread. Um, the status of the cancer, because in my mind there won't be a spread. My mind is reducing in size. It's just going away, and the way I feel is my reason for that. Saying that it's not just pie in the sky or anything like that. Um, I will let you know. I hope that this has been helpful, and it's a rough thing, man. It's a rough, tough thing to go through. Um, Initially, you go through a period where you are. I was mentally frayed and mentally going in so many different directions. Is I can't define it, you know. But I feel much more calm now. I want. It's not acceptance. I'm not in an acceptance stage because I don't. All I can accept is what's happening at this moment, you know. So I'm accepting life. I'm accepting healing. I'm accepting the love from my family and friends, and you know the fight I have within, and the love from God, and whatever your God is, you know. Hopefully, it's something positive one. And that's my position. So until next time, wishing you blessings, good health. Eat your vegetables. Men out there in your early 40s, if you get yourself checked, get that colonoscopy. Women too, everybody. If you're in your 50s, definitely do these things. Insist on having a thorough check of all of your internal organs, because sometimes you have to tell the doctor what to do. Eat well. It sounds like a cliche, but if you smoke, please stop, because you don't want to get to the point where you're fighting something and you might be to blame for it. You don't need that. You don't need that part. Try to stop smoking. Try not to drink too much. I never smoked. I never drank, so I don't have that trip on me. But take care of yourself. Moderation. Eat well. Get your exercise. Reduce the stress in your life. Because stress is another input. It's another input. And it does affect us on a physical level. So once again, until next time, peace, blessings, and good health.